What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we have got another episode of the series where I rate your squads, lads. So, today we are going to be going over unlimited squads and stuff. We are not going to be going over clutch time squads. I will do a clutch time squad video on probably Tuesday or probably Wednesday or Thursday, but I think we're going to be rating squads for each of the game modes anyway. There are obviously different things, like for example in clutch time someone like a Drazen is a lot better than Drazen is unlimited, and same with guys like Dame and stuff. So anyway, if you guys want to send your team, reply to my tweet. So every now and again I will tweet, well, at least once a week I will tweet send teams, and then obviously I'll specify whether it's clutch time or whether it's a full team. So first up right here we got Nick. Okay, normally spend current gen 250 KMT. I like to do pick and rolls or rim run, looking for defense, center off the bench, or place Thurmond. Tatum's your favorite player, so he's staying. Okay, that's understandable. Again, if there is a person who is your favorite player, even if they suck, go and use them. Honestly, go and use them. So the best thing you can do, you've got a lot of MT, is sell Nate Thurmond. Move Duncan to the 5. Duncan works there. There is no reason to have LaFrance to the 1 GG. There is no reason to have Marquez Johnson in your squad. There is no reason. I mean, Gervin's not terrible. I would literally run 1 GG at the power forward off the bench, or sorry, center off the bench. At the power forward off the bench instead of Mari Stoudemire, I would run with Jonathan Isaac instead of Marquez Johnson. You got like 230k. Just get yourself an Eddie Jones or something. Get yourself like a Mikal Bridges for actually no, Gervin's fine, and your point guards are fine. The only player that I would suggest to get rid of is Tatum, but obviously Tatum's your favorite player, and if he's your favorite player and you enjoy using him, keep him. I will always say that if you have fun using your favorite players, just go and keep the likes of Jason Tatum, because he's not bad. Like, he's not bad enough that he's going to lose you games. There are certain cards that I will be like, you know what, just get rid of them because they will lose you games. Tatum is not that bad. But other than that, this team's not good. I just gotta say that this team is not good at all. This is like in the 4 to 5 out of 10 range. Like, Mullen's okay. Like, you've got a couple of guys in your team that I would consider okay, but you've got a lot of weak links. Like, there are a lot of weak links in this team, so I can't give it a high score, honestly. I can't. So next gen, now I have Hakeem badge. So you're starting T-Mac. So you have Hakeem. Okay, I don't know if Jonathan Isaac, or not Jonathan Isaac, if Jaren Jackson Jr. plays the 4, or if you're playing John Collins the 4. So you've got Hakeem in. I'm guessing move D-Rob to the bench and starting T-Mac. So I assume you've sold Wiggins. I mean, Penny Hardaway probably is the one player I would put into this team, but like, I mean, dude, you know this is just a flex squad. I don't know why you're asking me who to use when you've got like most of the best players in the game. So yeah, well and truly just is a flex squad. So like, it is like a 9.5 out of 10, but I mean, you know it's a 9.5 out of 10. Okay. Hi DBG, play current mainly, but hop on next once in a while. Usually run 5 out picking pops with Clay and Jaren, got around 600k. Okay, so I like the team. I do like the team. You've got some of the best, 2 of the better point guards in the game. I mean, if you've got 600k, I would just get Penny Hardaway. Like, I know obviously there are Penny's good, but there are like, he's significant. It's not like he's a significant amount better than like running a Steve Francis, but still, if you have the MT, I would do that, because post patch, I'm not into Francis post patch. I'm really not. Like, I like your centers. I do like your centers. So I would not get rid of those 2 guys, because, well, Mike and Jaren Jackson are good. Dolph is exceptional, especially that masked Dolph. John Collins is pretty good. You don't need to spend any MT to get better, to upgrade your John Collins, because obviously he's a really good player. So you've got Hoff Interceptor guy and Jimmy. I mean, you've got a lot going for you with this team. I do have to say that. Like, there's a lot of positives with this team. There aren't many negatives. There really aren't. This is a really nice team. This is like a solid 9 out of 10. I think post-patch Steve Francis is not really that dude. But other than that, it's hard to really see there being any sort of weaknesses in this squad. So, yeah. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. A 5-out pick and pop, more of a transition player. Run 2-3, everyone is badged out. Jeez, badging out every player is so expensive in this game. Damian Lillard, Jimmy, Sean Marion, Larry, and Duncan. I mean, you have enough defense to hide Dame, which is good in your starting lineup. Clay, AK, John Collins, and Miles Turner. Miles Turner is a weird one. Like, I like Miles Turner. I like Miles Turner more than most people like Miles Turner. Like, I am super high on that card. The only problem for me with Turner is that I just think that he's just not enough better than Wang Zhiji to justify the price difference. And considering that you only have 30,000 MT or 13,000 MT, like, you do need to sell some players because you always need that little bit of extra MT. Because when players drop in price and stuff, you always kind of need that that safety net of MT, which you don't currently have in your squad. So for me, like, Miles Turner gone, Wang Zhiji in, and then with that, you've just got a whole bunch more MT. And you're doing fine otherwise. You're doing fine. You're doing absolutely fine. So, yeah, a good squad, like an 8 out of 10. Basically, no MT. Run Hawks 2018. It's just 5 out. Probably better than the average MyTEAM. Probably could sell the 800 cards you got for MT. Yeah, I would strongly advise you to sell the 800 cards you have for MT. Because, like, if you only have 800 cards, it's not like you're hitting collector level anyway. There's no point keeping them. Like, there's no point keeping 800. Like, if you're there on, like, 2,500, you're like, okay, maybe. Struggling for MT makes it a little more of a challenge. I'm sorry, you just spend all your MT on contracts or something? I don't know how you have one auctionable player and you're using Al Horford. So you got 15k. You can still afford Jaren Jackson Jr. He's way better now. If you've got 800 cards, that means you must have a lot of bums in your collection. I'm sorry, that's the only way to describe. That's the only way to justify that. Like, you must have a lot of absolute scrubs in your collection. If you've got 800 cards and the only auctionable player you have in your team is not good. Or sorry, it's not good. Is 2,000 MT. So you genuinely just must have an entire collection of scrubs. So sell some of those 800. Like, I'd say cards on average sell for 1,000 MT. Like, you will get yourself a couple of 100,000 MT. At least a couple of 100,000. And then when you have that, you can maybe get rid of Al Horford. Like, bingo's fine. Like, those 2 point guards in your bench are going to get abused. You're in that 4 point guard lineup. Like, honestly, just get yourself like an Eddie Jones. Get yourself Mikal Bridges. Makes your team way better on defense. Trying to think who else there is to get. Like, you kind of need you kind of need another wing. Maybe an AK or something with that MT, and then just get like Jaren Jackson Jr. or Mike and play as your backup center. Okay. Let me find an interesting team. This is interesting. Just started. Okay, so this is perfect. This is exactly what these videos are for. Just started. Pull 2 PDs from a VC. You got from my career, so don't know. You have 300. So you have 360,000 MT. All right, I'd tear down. Like, first of all, Tyler Hero is just the worst Kevin Huerter. If you guys don't know, Kevin Huerter is just a purely better version of Tyler Hero. Rick Smits and I mean Ingram's not even as. Rick Smits the only garbage man in your team. I really like Eric Snow. Sadiq Bey is better than Brandon Ingram without question. You don't even need. You're wasting MT with you're wasting MT with 3 rubies, 2 rubies and a diamond at the end of your bench. Backup center, just get Jaren Jackson Jr. Roko's fine. I don't like Roko at power forward. I would use Roko at small forward, but I don't know if there are any other good power forwards to use. So, kind of understand why you would have Roko in there. But other than that, like, Bowen's decent. I would probably get Marcus Smart somewhere in your team. I'm trying to think who to replace Gary Harris with. Because Gary Harris is not bad. There's just a lot of better players than Gary Harris. I mean, if you like Hero, just get Herder instead of Harris. Herder's super cheap and cheaper. Or sorry, he's cheaper than Harris and he's super good. Trying to think who at small forward that can play defense for really cheap. Wait, you've got 300k. So you can spend, you can, again, just buy. I hate suggesting this to every single player, but I mean, there's a reason why I'm suggesting Mikal Bridges and Eddie Jones for every player. And I mean, instead of Gary Harris, you can just get Caruso, who's just a way better version of Gary Harris. Like, if you really want to stay cheap out on MT, Franz Wagner is pretty damn good. If any of you guys have been watching, like, my Know What He Spent series, you guys know that Franz Wagner, he just carries. I don't know what it is with the guy. His defense is just god tier. His defense is insane. He doesn't miss ever. Like, Franz Wagner is really that dude. I don't know what it is about him, but he's just really good. So, yeah, that's a weird from left field suggestion, but maybe that would work. Your team's is kind of weak though. You do need a lot of players upgraded. So 370k MT, have all badge with Julius Erving, run Hawks, freelance, and pick and roll. So 5 out. Julius Erving, I don't know how I feel about the Bill Russell Tim Duncan combo. Like, both of those guys have baited releases. I would swap out one of the two. Like, I would probably get rid of Jaren Jackson Jr. As much as I do like him, I don't know if the all defense, like if the double defensive big is a power forward to center is going to work in this day and age. But I mean, sick with if it works. I'm just not quite sure. It wouldn't work for me running those two guys. Wiggins is too expensive to be sitting on a bench. Just putting it out there. Peyton, you're obviously good at the game. You've got Peyton. Like, if you're going to play him off the bench, just get Bridges. Like, Wiggins is definitely better, but if you're not going to start Wiggins, there's actually no... it's just too much MT wasted if you're not starting him. I'm going to be honest, like, Wiggins is not cheap. And even is he worth his MT? I'm going to go with, yeah. I actually do think Wiggins is probably worth an MT, but he's just so expensive that there's no point running him off the bench. Especially, like, well, you've got 370k. You might as well hoard a little bit of MT. Because this is the time of the year where I would never suggest for anyone to buy your MT. Because if you guys don't remember, the very first drop, like Season 4, at the end of Season 4, there was not a single card used from Season 3. Like, people that played this game at a decent level did not use a single card from Season 3. Whereas, like, you're still seeing cards from Season 1 be used nowadays in Season 3. And we're like a couple of weeks into it. Whereas last year, cards from... like, Season 4 is the start of, like, the unrealistic cards. That was when we got Terry Dishinger and the Inferno packs last year. So, this is the time of the year that I would advise you to kind of hold all your MT. So, there's no point in going overboard spending. Like, your team can get a bit better, but, like, it's not going to get enough better that it's, by spending that MT, that it's worth it. So, I would probably even just tactically downgrade Wiggins. Get yourself Mikal Bridges. And, honestly, maybe even sell Tim Dunk. If you... Tim Duncan or Bill Russell, whichever one of them you don't prefer. Move Jonathan Isaac to the 4. Bring Bridges at the 3. And just get any old power forward. Heck, freaking Tobias Harris works kind of well. I would this would be a tactically downgrade suggestion more than anything. Keep your MT and put yourself in the good place. Okay. Any interesting... Ooh. Okay. You got 1,000 MT. So Cliff is your only pink diamond. Where the hell is your MT gone? You've played... To have these cards, you've had to play a hell of a lot of this game. Where the hell is your MT gone? You've got... How do you have Ron freaking Boone and 1,000 MT and no players? You have that bum TJ Warren. You have the bum TJ Warren at power forward. I don't even know where to start. I can't even say sell your players. Dude, you know, actually, this is what you do. You get your 3 goal players. If you have them, please tell me you have Dennis Smith Jr. stuff. You play a bunch of triple threat offline until you have about 15,000 MT. Then you replace Kyrie Irving with, I don't know, Isaiah Thomas Amethyst. He's like 2,000 MT. You replace Kyrie with Isaiah Thomas Amethyst. You replace D Brown with Danny Green token, because you have the tokens to do that. You know what? At this stage, keep Kelly. Adrian Dantley stinks. Honestly, just replace him with Franz Wagner. That's 1,000 MT. Replace D Brown with oh, so you've already got Danny Green. Just play a Ibaka at the 5. I'm looking at your bench. Your current bench center is Trey Rollins. He's the tree man. He's the only backup center you have. Because you don't have a backup power forward. TJ Warren, get rid of him for Jonathan Isaac. Get Big Wang in there. Like, get yourself 15 KMT and build a squad, because my god, this squad. This might be my first 1 out of 10. And I don't understand how. You've had to play a lot of the game to get these cards. You have no MT and no players either. This squad is terrible. This squad is terrible, lads. Okay. Let me see. Prefer to keep Steph. He's your favorite player, but you're willing to replace him. I mean, I would highly advise you to replace Steph Curry. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to replace Steph Curry, that's your decision. I'm cool with that as well. Like, if you don't want to replace him because he's your favorite player, he's not bad. He's just very overpriced. Clay is really good. AK is really good. Dolph Shay's really good. Vus is a bit of a weird one. Honestly, I think Big Wang's better than Vus. I do like Vucevic though. It's just Big Wang's Big Wang. Then, as well as that, I don't think who else could come in. Your bench lineup is really good. I personally don't like Mike at the 4, but a lot of people do like him at the 4, so I'm not gonna begrudge that move or that decision there. Okay, I'm trying to think. Like, Vucevic starting at the 5 is a weird one. With that team, Vucevic should not be starting. Like, you've 2 centers on the bench that are significantly better than Vucevic. Like, it's not even a close one. They are way better. Like, they are better by a hell of a lot. So, I would just get Jonathan Isaac in the squad. Move one of Mike and Bill Russell to center. And move the other one to your backup power forward. Or if you want to get like a Mikal Bridges or something for defense and move Batum to your backup power forward, that works. Because Batum works very well at power forward. Like, a lot of small forwards don't work great at power forward. Batum does, even though I think Batum is actually primary power forward. Like, Batum is one of those players people kind of forgot about. Like, I thought he was really good when he came out. And people also kind of knew he was good when he came out. It's just, as time's gone on, he's kind of fallen through the cracks. He's really fallen through the cracks. Like, people are nowhere near as high on Batum as they once were, even though he's still a brilliant card. Harden, Penny Hardaway off the bench, spectacular. The only real player, other than just like getting Jonathan Isaac or Mikal Bridges or just somebody, you either just need a better small forward and move Batum to the 4, you can get a better power forward. Just Vus does not belong in that team. Like, he's the only real weak link, except for, I mean, Curry's debatable because Curry is, like, he is your favorite player, so I have to, you have to take that into account, and that is an important thing for a lot of people, because at the end of the day, a lot of people do want to use their favorite players, and they want to have fun. So, could your team be a little bit better if you replace Curry? Yeah, but would it be a serious? Do you enjoy playing with Curry more? Probably. At the end of the day, the most important thing is that you're having fun playing the game. So if you're having fun with Curry, keep Curry. But overall, it's like an 8.5 out of 10. This is not bad. Okay, so you've got Peyton, so you obviously know what you're doing. You have some idea. Play both current next, have 500k. When Hawks 2018 will play from 2013 Miami. Clay is your primary ball handler. Of course he is. Clay should be everyone who has Clay should be their primary ball handler. Clay should always be a user's primary ball handler. Especially when they Peyton. I like this team. This is very, like, outside Clay, this is very similar to a type of team that I would run. So, I don't think really there's a flaw in the specific players. Because again, it's very, very similar to something that I would run if I had the MT to get a Kevin Durant. Arzin on the bench does not belong. I'm just putting that out there. Arzin, if you've got 500k, just get Eddie, man. Just get Eddie Jones. Like, not only, like, Arzin doesn't even play defense. Like, it would be kind of understandable. Like, if Arzin was this lockdown defender, I could understand using him. But, like, he is just a mediocre shooter. Sorry, no, he's a good shooter. He's a good shooter. Mediocre is would be very much under. Like, that would be a bad explanation of him shooting, because he is a very, very solid shooter. But that's it. That's all he kind of is. He's not fast enough to do anything. He's not going to be able to get to the basket. You can't use him as primary ball handler, although Dame will always be your primary ball handler anyway if you have Dame. But, yeah, I'm not that high on this team. I'm not low on it either. There's a lot of good players involved here. But, no, I'm not particularly high on it. So, yeah, I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. Like a 7 out of 10 here. Okay. Got 250k, need a PG. Grinding clutch time for a Lillard. Also, I know it's 4 weeks away, but waiting till Dan Marley for 2 guys. I mean, I'm pretty much doing the same. Trying to think, are there better PGs? I mean, Marcus Smart's better than PG. Than, you have 250-something K. Just get Marcus Smart. He's a lot better than Walt. I mean, your team works. Is it the greatest team in the world? No, but it works. You got Bill Russell, who's a spectacular defender. Isaac, who's good. Mike, who's good. Collins is good. Kirilenko's great. Mullen's fine. Ja is fine. So it's not like there's any real flaws in your team. And that's a huge positive. Like there are going to be flaws. Most people are going to have flaws in their team. And this team, in my opinion, doesn't. But I would just, because there's no primary ball handler on your bench, because if you are using, what's his name as a primary ball handler? If you are using Frazier as a primary ball handler, you're going to struggle. Like, you will definitely struggle with him as your main ball handler. So I'm gonna say like an 8.5 out of 10. It's not bad. Not a bad team. Not a bad team at all. Oh wow, 2K19 days, the glory days, the absolute. My team peaked Christmas of 2K19, the peak of all my teams. I'm not even kidding. That was literally the locker code. The Christmas locker code peaked my team. So yeah, with this we have got Tracy McGrady, Kevin Durant, the token 17 something token, or is it 1750 token, 99 every stat LeBron. Was this even a great squad back then? I mean, T-Mac a point guard wasn't even that cheese. If you guys don't remember, you guys probably don't remember again. This is like back when Ty would have like 17 viewers on stream. Ty played in a tournament and he ran with Shaquille O'Neal a point guard. There was a Shaq card that he used to use a point guard, and he used to just dominate everybody. And then that Giannis was the auctionable Opal Giannis. There was a way better Opal Giannis, by the way, but that was auctionable. Fun times, fun times. And then the draft day set, the set with Hakeem and Anthony Davis, it broke the auction house. The auction house, you used to be able to get players. If you were able to put a bid on a card, you would get the player. Because the auction house, you couldn't redeem a card and you couldn't bid on a card. So you would literally, like, this was the sniping method. You would just spam bids on a card. There would be 100 people bidding on the same card, and the one person that 2K blessed enough to allow them to bid just automatically won the card. 2K19 Summer was nuts. It was nuts, lads. So, yeah, then we have got, let's find an interesting squad here. 23 minutes in, so let's find an interesting squad. 2 more squads. Then we're gonna give it a miss after that. Okay, Walter Davis. Okay. You have no MT. You have Dolph. As much as I love Dolph, Dolph is kind of holding you back. Like, I would sell Dolph if I were you. And especially if you've got Poku in there and no Jonathan Isaac. So, players you need to replace. Paul Arzon is not good enough to be in the squad. Walter Davis is fine, I guess. I mean, I would rather have Eddie Jones. Walter Davis is only half the price. Sorry, I would rather have Mikal Bridges. Walter Davis is cheaper. You have Eddie Jones there at the 3. Marcus Smart works. He's really good. Bench point guard. Who's better than Paul Arzon? I mean, Eric Snow is better. Like, again, I have Paul Arzon. I have Eric Snow. Eric Snow is just significantly better in my opinion. Unless you have that badge there, Paul Arzon. Sadiq Bey kind of is what he is. He's fine. Like, Sadiq Bey and the Matisse Thybulle card. Like, Matisse Thybulle card's ball at the bench. It's perfect. Like, that is a great, solid card. Voos. I would get always Big Wang and Isaac. Like, there's no reason to not use those 2 guys. But other than that, your team's alright. Team's alright. Like, is it flawless? No, but it's a decent team. Okay. Westbrook. Julius Erving, Jimmy Buckets, Larry Bird, Tim Duncan. With 60 or 71 speed, Joel Embiid on the bench. That makes things interesting. That Joel Embiid card. He's way too expensive for what he is. I'm just putting it out there. He's not terrible, though. He's really not. So, your best center... Duncan versus Bill Russell's a close one. I probably think Duncan's that little bit better. I was about to say your best center isn't even in your rotation. But arguably your best center isn't in your rotation. Your 1.5 center isn't in your rotation. But, yeah, so... Dr. J and Jimmy Butler work perfectly. Westbrook, unless he's your favorite player, Westbrook should never see the floor for your team. I'm sorry, Westbrook is not good. Nate Thurmond, you have two centers sitting at the end of your bench. Nate Thurmond is not in your rotation, just get rid of him. Like, you have so much MT tied up in players you're not going to play. You have Ace and Kidd in your team. You're still running Sleepy Floyd. You're running Ray Allen. He doesn't even get half range. Like, I would make a lot of changes. You've got some good players. Trust me, you've got some good players. You also have some of the most reckless spending of MT I think I've ever seen in this game. You have some seriously reckless MT spent. So, there is no need. Sell those three at the end of your bench. Like, you're getting 70k for Ace and Kidd. Like, you are actually getting 70k for him. You're probably getting something similar for Thurmond. And then I'm not quite sure what you're getting for anyone else, but like it's still better than the 1,000 MT or 6,000 MT or whatever it is that you have right now. So you're getting like some MT, whereas you've got absolutely none at the minute. So yeah, that's what you need to do before anything else. Sell those three, and then suddenly you've got MT that you can actually do something smart with. Embiid, I don't rate Embiid because I'm not even sure he's better than Big Wang. Gerald Wallace is great. Ray Allen, I mean, Ray Allen's solid. He's just way too expensive for what he is. Like, he is just a solid card, but he's priced like he's the freaking best two guard in the game. He's one of the most expensive two guards in this game, and he's just another card. So, I would probably replace him. Like, Ray Allen, in my opinion, is not that much better than Drazen Petrovic. I've used both of them. I would probably take Drazen over Ray more often than not. Even though I do very slightly prefer Ray Allen's release. But again, it's not even by much that I prefer Ray. But yeah, you've got good players. It's just reckless spending of MT that I can't agree with. It is like a 7.58 out of 10 team. It's not bad. It is not bad at all. Alright, so now we're just going to find one last team. One last team of interest, and then we're going to leave it at that. We're going to leave it at that, lads. Okay. Let me scroll. Just need one more interesting team. Okay. You have a dynamic duo, which isn't a dynamic duo. You've got half a dynamic duo on the floor. If you don't know, you do not get the update. If the player is not on the floor, you don't get the update. So for what's his name not being on the floor, because Sadiq Bey and Kay Cunningham are not on the floor at the same time, you don't get that upgrade. So you've got just because it says 91 does not mean you get a 91 card. I'm just gonna say that right there, and I'm pretty sure that's a mistake that you have made, because a lot of people do make that mistake. Marcus Smart at the 2. You have a 6'3" 2 guard and a 6'1" point guard. The lack of height disturbs me there. Like, yeah, I'm not somebody that's, like, I'm not as big on height as most people, but it's just too small. Like, I'm okay with some small lineups. Like, your lineup is just too small with those two guards, with that two guard front. So, yeah, let's work on that first. Cade without the duo. I mean, if you really want to start Pokashevsky, You got 100. You got 100k. Spend a little bit of that 100k making this team better, because this team is not it, lads. This team is not it. So you need to spend a little bit of that money making this team better. Batum's fine. You need Jonathan Isaac somewhere. Like, there's no reason to have Pokashevsky in there and then not having Jonathan Isaac in your collection. So yeah, that's a big no-no. I'm trying to think of what way. Sorry, Jonathan Isaac is there. What am I talking about? Sadiq Bey is pretty good. So I think, who should you use? Because I'm just drawing a blank. I'm drawing a complete blank on Go Budget players. Because your team kind of sucks. And not kind of sucks, it really sucks. I'm just drawing a blank on every good player to use right here. Get Big Wong. He's better than both of your centers. Get Jaren Jackson Jr. He's also way better than both of your centers. Get... I mean, DeJounte's fine. I'm trying to think who to put in for Cade. Caruso, Walter Davis, Kevin Herter. There are infinite options that you can use instead of Cade Cunningham. Or if you want to just go and put a Sadiq Bey on your bench and run with that duo, then maybe Cade's alright. Selling DeJounte and putting Marcus Smart as your point guard, maybe? I don't know. I don't know why I'm so confused with this team. Screw, I'm just going to do the normal. Get Eddie Jones, get Mikal Bridges, sell Pokashevsky, sell Cade Cunningham, get rid of Colin Sexton, move Marcus Smart to the point guard position. DeJounte Murray, I mean, you can keep him. Jonathan Isaac's fine. Get Big Wong as your backup center. Get Jaren Jackson Jr. You're probably sitting on like 50k MT right now. I know your team's going to be a lot better. I was trying to be a bit creative and I just drew a blank. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the video for this squad here. Oh, so you have Jordan in a starter now, Wong on the bench. Play pick and roll. I mean, well, Wong's just better than Jordan. Jaren Jackson Jr. is way better than Jordan as well. I don't know why. I just completely just drew a blank with this last person squad, and that's probably the best time to end it. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.